So it's going to be part three of this video series. Once again, Friday, November 14, 2025. These are some of the early micro helicopters that I was developing before the Robin 280. And as I was saying in my other video, this is the helicopter that I traded with this one, not by my choice. Is a gentleman that had this helicopter. He saw what I was doing. At the time when I was developing this was there were no helicopters of this nature. The micro helicopter was not available. My Robin had not come out. This is actually an early Robin. It's almost in pieces here because I've had this for decades. Just sitting in boxes and from moving so many things. Sometimes things get a little broken here and there. And that's also another helicopter that this one right here is the frame of another helicopter that I did. There we go. No, it's the same thing. It's a very similar, but this one has a two-stage gear setup using these gears. Also, once again, gears that I was acquiring from surplus places. I hadn't locked on my own gears, developing my own gears. And so I was just kind of piecing things from wherever I could find things, and that's how I made my early helicopters. Developing all the stuff that to the point that I developed my own micro helicopters to the point that they were at the back in 2000s when I released the Robin 280, the Bumblebee, the palm-sized helicopter, the Housefly. And so this is the early work that you're seeing here. So a small portion of the early work because like I said, I have boxes and boxes of these things that I did. I made so many of these things, hundreds of these things over the span of throughout the late 70s and early 80s, 90s. Here's a canopy that I carved out of foam, and this is extremely lightweight. Once again, this actually belongs to I believe to this one right here, and this is another helicopter that I also did on similar frame, very lightweight, and once again carbon rods, and extremely lightweight stuff for this particular size. I mean, my helicopters have always been very lightweight for their particular size, that I was developing. Because of the methods that I just show here, paper laminated blades, carbon with a carbon structure, just to reinforce that. In fact, I have an airplane that I did just a biplane that's kind of similar. I use paper, and I've used paper also in some other bigger airplanes. Even, I did a Cessna. Similar construction of carbon with paper. I know paper doesn't last as long, but just to keep things lightweight was the reason why I did that. So, just a point of interest, I wanted to go grab this box and bring this out, so that I can make this video more congruent with my explanation as to the history of this particular helicopter, how it came about obtaining this helicopter, and the gentleman that traded this with me, he, like I said, back in that time, there was nothing. There were no micro helicopters, no sub micro helicopters, and I was pioneering a lot of this stuff, talking about it. This, as I do in my videos and my YouTube channel, and as I share here, you can get the same flavor as you can imagine what I was doing back in the early days. Same thing. I haven't changed my direction, my approach, and the way I share these things with people. So I was sharing a lot of that very early on, and there was a frenzy of people that started to follow my stuff and they wanted these little things, and they would write to me and say, Mario, if you develop this, put me down for one of them. Some people you were willing to send me money, for some of these things, and I was like, no, wait till I fully develop, and then I'll offer you a kit, and then we can do an exchange, product for money. So. This is where where I come from, early on in as far as helicopters is concerned. As far as the ultralights and microlights, you can see that my half scale Quicksilver style also ultralights sitting in the back here, and I'm doing this in front of this on purpose, to just to establish a firm point of reference, point of view. Even though we're way into the future, from the time I started doing this, but just to give you a base, for all the early stuff that I've done. Mario, once again, stay tuned for more.